All right, Sistas fans. Now, last night's episode, season 8, episode 3, Up Close and Personal, I will say it was a major step up from last week. I mean, you could argue that this week's episode was just as dull as last week. Come on, Jeremy, at least 50% of the episode just consisted of the girls in the penthouse kind of pointing the finger at each other about who stabbed Gary, who had the biggest motivation, this, that, and the third. And you're not wrong. I mean, the first 10 minutes consisted of Andy finally revealing to the girls about the whole blackmail ultimatum thing. And then from there, we went to the law firm and then back to the penthouse at least, what? 1, 2 or 3 times. So yeah, I think debatably it's more than 20 minutes of the episode just had the girls talking back and forth. But I really love the law firm scenes. Those are probably my favorite of the episode. And there were certain elements of the girls discussing everything going on that just felt refreshing because of the fact that, well, kind of like season 7, the writers are harkening back to season 1 with the girls kind of just checking in with each other. But I was going to give this episode a very solid 7 out of 10. But we get to the end of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, and for whatever reason, it almost felt like the ladies were talking about, wow, yeah, if Gary really would have, if Gary really did die, it would feel like there's some sort of void because, you know, he was a part of your life, Andy, and he was also part of ours. And I'm like, what in the freak is going on here? This makes no sense. I mean, yeah, am I a monster for feeling any sort of relief that Gary was, you know, I at least thought he was dead after he got stabbed. And I'm just thinking to myself, no. It's just like the person who's abused and manipulated you for so long finally gets their comeuppance and you feel relief and then you feel bad. Well, no, that was the dumbest part of the episode. The episode, I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. But then they fumbled at the finish line. That's what they did. I mean, this goes back to the video I did yesterday, I think, about filler being dangerous, and the fact that filler episodes sometimes display the worst out of your characters. And I think that was one of the mistakes of having the penthouse scenes being so long. I mean, you could have just filled it in with everybody talking about what they plan on doing once they get to work, or just a few more smart remarks or jokes at each other's expenses. But to have these ladies seemingly talk about how they might possibly mourn Gary, and Andy getting to the point where it's like, oh, I know this fool is going to say I still love him, but I don't know. But let's just talk about the episode in general. Trust and believe this will not take long. Make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe. Follow me on social media. All of those links are in the description below. And hit the notification bell and select all. That way you're up to date whenever I post content on the channel. Now, yeah, the first 10 minutes of the episode, don't worry, I was looking at the time, so I know. We didn't get to the first commercial break until like 15 minutes in. But essentially, Andy pretty much reveals the situation with Robin because, you know, the girls are like, you know, hey, Andy, we're not judging you. And Danny's like, well, I certainly am. Just real quick, these penthouse scenes, they really capture the essence of the early Sister Circle moments where you got Sabrina, who is the optimistic gal pal. You have Danny, who's the sharp shooter, straight shooter. She's not wasting any time. She's getting right to the point. Karen is the semi-understanding / peer mediator, making sure, you know, Danny doesn't go too far off the rails, so to speak. And Andy's the one venting about her issues with Gary. So most of this episode felt very season 1-like. But essentially, she talks about how Robin is back to, you know, help her out with the case and whatnot. And, you know, she put her entire life on the line for Jordan because of the threat towards not just his career, but his life. And for Sabrina to say, that's romantic. And it's like, everybody looked at her weird and I don't blame them. I think it's just stupid because, you know, as a viewer, I feel like Jordan and Andy's chemistry / relationship isn't strong enough to believe or to make it believable that Andy would just marry Gary to save Jordan. It just seems like, especially based off how she acted towards the end of the episode, and heck, in the promo for next week, it looks like she's in his hospital room like she's about to break down and cry. I feel like part of her wanted to be married to Gary. It's just ridiculous. But in any case, the girls start to suspect Robin due to the fact that everything just seems so convenient. Like, the timing for when he arrived back in Atlanta, it just so happened he come back right after the stabbing, and I don't know, it's just very questionable. Now from there, we go over to Andy feeling guilty about the whole thing in regards to the girls being caught up in this mess. And, to be fair, I don't really blame her somewhat in terms of the interrogations, because when you really think about it, her girls are her friends, like they're going to protect Andy at all costs. But at the end of the day, they're the ones who decided to rush down to the wedding venue. I mean, had they not done so, they wouldn't have been anywhere near the scene of the crime. And, the stabbing, well, hey, they would have been off the hook. But then Andy talks about how she feels guilty about Jordan and Penelope being brought into it as well. Well, I mean, that's kind of what you get for not telling them about the blackmail ultimatum bullcrap right after you were threatened by Gary in the first place. I mean, but Penelope made up her own decision to go confront Gary after Andy told her about the situation with the prom date or whatever. That was just her stupidity on that. Then probably my favorite moment from the Sistas scenes in this episode, I believe they were saying how, we got your back, girl, no matter what. I mean, like, you had our back in college for that geology class that you thought was a breeze, and we almost all failed it. And then Danny reveals she got like an A-, and then she alluded to, I had sex with the professor, but it's like, oh no, Earth is pretty much one of my favorite subjects. So that was just like a fun little lighthearted moment in the midst of this mystery. But like somebody on Twitter said, how many episodes do we have left in this Blue's Clues series before we get to the point of it all? And I have to agree with that. But this lighthearted moment was definitely needed. It just makes me even more interested in what went down for these girls when they first met back in their college days. So from there, Karen makes a point. It's like, we got your back no matter what, even if you stabbed Gary. And then Andy has to defend herself, saying that I didn't do it. Well, hey, you know what? None of us are blaming you if you did. And then the accusations start like, well, what about, Danny? She's the most violent of us all. And, what about when she ran over Jonah? I think Karen said that. I don't know if Andy did. I forgot which one of them said it. But Danny says, well, fooey on you all because the feds think my story is too crazy to be true, is crazy enough to be true, so I'm off the hook. So pretty much y'all the ones who potentially stabbed the man, I mean, then they bring up Sabrina's time behind bars, and then Karen with the hormones and stuff like that. I think Zach even got brought up when Andy was like deflecting when Karen tried to accuse her of stabbing Gary. Like, and what about you? Dealing with somebody that's a scorned ex, and then you deal with the pressures. Yeah, but Zach never ended up in the ICU. And I'm like, well, he was behind bars because you falsely accused him of stealing that credit card, but whatever. And also, somebody was calling Andy's phone. Sabrina handed her the phone and she didn't answer. I'm assuming that was Fatima, but we never really explore that. But essentially, we get to the point where Andy's sense of relief is where she feels guilty because it was short-lived. I walked in there and I saw the knife plunge in his chest and it just felt like, oh, it's finally over. No. But this woman goes on to say, for a moment, it's like I began to think I couldn't see a world without Gary in it. What kind of BS is that? And then, I feel pathetic. Yeah, well, no, I don't think you should feel pathetic. I think you should feel idiotic. And the same goes for all the girls once they try to. Danny's the only one who tries to speak up like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, if Gary isn't around, okay, so what? And then, I don't. Prime example of Danny being ousted for being the voice of reason, all in favor of making. Whenever one of the girls says, wait, did I make the wrong decision? Am I an idiot? Am I a bad person? Of course not. No. Oh, gosh. One of the things about the sister circle I didn't miss. Yeah, but this ruined the episode for me. I mean, I don't know. But either way, the girls a group hug, and then at the beginning of the episode, Danny was the first one, just like, oh, kicking off my shoes. I guess it was one of those situations where it's like, hey, Andy, we're all putting both feet down. We are not leaving here until you tell us the truth, because Andy was doing a piss poor job of trying to deflect, and it wasn't working. So, they get their shoes on, stand up, group hug, and they head out to work. I think Andy said she was going to the hospital. Now, going back to the law firm, because this episode really only took place in two places, aside from the hospital, and brief look at Zach at home. Hayden calls out Fatima for being late, and Fatima claps back saying, ooh, when my girl Andy makes managing partner, she's going to put you in your place and kick your butt out of the firm. But basically, you have Hayden who deflects, talking about the stabbing, and it's like, well, little old Andy might not be in a partner position, considering, she's probably one of the suspects for the stabbing, and if she didn't do it, she probably got her hood assistant to do the job. And in the midst of their bantering, bickering back and forth, Robin pops up, and Hayden looks like he just saw a ghost, and that's when the ass kissing began. But my favorite part about this is the fact that Robin, was really, supporting Fatima, and the fact that, oh, hey, I'm happy to see you back, and I just started law school. I'm not, attorney yet, but when I do become one, Robin's like, oh, well, I hope you consider this law firm as a place of employment. So in the midst of this, friendly conversation, you have Hayden trying to be on Robin's good side, considering he was a key player in trying to get him ousted from his own company. But he says, well, I own the place, well, majority of it, so it looks like, he's just back on the team. Never fully explained how things went down in season 5. Did he just decide to go back to the UK/London just because? I mean, I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm happy to see him back, but it's just, I don't know. So in any case, he asked to see Hayden in Andy's office, and Fatima's giddy over the fact that, haha, you about to be extra crispy because you about to get fired. Then she slaps him in the face. While some thought it was funny, I did get a chuckle out of it. I'm like, okay, Fatima, you doing too much here. So Hayden looks like, he's about to crap himself. And he's like, hey, boss, so what's he want to talk to me about? Let me just say before we get started, I'm sorry for trying to get you out of the company. Well, it's too late for forgiveness for that, but at the same time, it's water under the bridge, so let's move forward. I want to give you Andy's caseload. Here's number one, point one in terms of the episode being self-aware of itself. A major complaint in this series, not just this series, but many Tyler Perry series, is when you have a person who's established to be in a certain career, especially if they have a specific position, yet we see them from time to time doing things that their job shouldn't have them do because they probably aren't qualified to do so. And last week when the trailer revealed that Hayden was given Andy's caseload, but she's a divorce attorney, he's a tax attorney, like what's going on? But Robin clears that up saying, well, actually, since I'm back, I'm going to be asking a lot of the employees to be doing things a bit unorthodox, but it's needed in order to keep things up to par as we transition to a new managing partner. So essentially, he hands him the keys to Andy's, cases, and says that Fatima will be on tap to assist him. And from there, Hayden leaves the office, and, he pretty much tries to, say, oh, don't worry about it. Like, I can handle the job. I mean, if you look, and because Hayden just says, like, hey, Robin just says, while I've been absent, I've been looking over the numbers and, the stats, and you did a pretty good job in the last quarter. And then, Hayden kind of pats himself on the back, but Robin makes it clear that, Andy did double what you did. And at any time Hayden tried to say anything negative about Andy in terms of like the stabbing or her being a danger to the reputation of the firm, Robin is quick to shut it down. But like I said last season, when it came down to who's going to get the Marie Willis case and how that could influence one lawyer over the other in getting the partner position, I said in a video that I think Hayden is the better fit, even though neither one of them should make partner at the firm. It's just that when you look at it from the perspective of the long term, but also the past record of both of these lawyers at the firm, Andy would be a major detriment to the company because ever since she got hired, it's almost been like half a dozen times where the company got involved with a potential lawsuit and or investigation by the feds due to her relationship with Gary. And it's just crazy to me that despite bringing in a lot of money to the firm, Andy does more harm than good when it comes to the firm's reputation. So as Hayden comes out of the office, Fatima is, ready to, make sure that Hayden gets kicked out quick, fast, in a hurry. But, he pretty much gloats over the situation. And Fatima's flabbergasted over the fact that Hayden is her boss now. And from there, Hayden, steps away. Fatima is about to leave, but then Robin catches up with her and pretty much says, like, hey, since I've been gone, there's been a lot of, relaxed behavior around here, like people coming and going as they please. And hey, when I have you here on the company time, I need you here. So that errand of yours is going to have to wait. Please go back to your office and get to work. And Fatima's like, oh, okay. And then she decides to try to call Andy, and that's who I believe was calling Andy when Sabrina handed her the phone, but she didn't answer it. So from there, we go over to the hospital when Andy arrives, and this was a sneak peek scene. She's trying to tell Andy about the whole situation with Robin, but to be completely honest, I don't think that in context Robin was acting suspicious. He was just kind of, putting his foot down in order to get everyone in line due to the fact that, since one of the partners died, they're about to put a new partner in place. He's just there to kind of, he's like the captain of the ship, making sure everything's a bit more, everything is running smoothly as opposed to more free-spirited during his absence. And I mean, is Fatima feeling some kind of way simply due to the fact that Robin is doing his job? It's kind of funny to me because of the fact that it's one of those situations where Fatima it's like she's not protected by the plot armor anymore. It's like she just can't come and go as she pleases. But Andy rushes her off the phone before she can even, I don't think Robin is here to help you like you think. Oh, gotta go. And then she runs into Hudson, who seemingly won't let her go back to visit Gary. And also we get the brief scene where Zach calls Fatima, and that's just to check in with her. He could tell something's wrong. And she mentions Hayden, but not the fact that he's working over her now. But it's neither here nor there. Zach makes it clear that if you need me to come down there, I'll take care of him. And I'm thinking, Zach, don't think that's a good idea. Robin is, marching to the beat of a new drum. So I doubt he's going to be in a mood to bail you out of jail again if you beat up one of his employees or one of his best ones, because he's essential considering that he's taking over Andy's caseload as well as his own. Final scene to talk about is the mystery person that pops up in the hospital room. I don't know who it is. They're wearing all black. It's clearly not Hayden, Robin, or Fatima because they're all at work. And that's about it. Oh yeah, so after getting hung up on by Andy, Fatima's still standing out in front of the front desk. I have no idea how long she was standing out there. And I kept saying to myself, why doesn't she just go to her office, close the door, and get on the phone there? Because I'm just waiting for the moment where Robin pokes his head out to ask what she's doing. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the episode in a nutshell. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As I mentioned before, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.